This is the Shure SM7B, and you probably recognize it because it's in every single YouTube studio tour and on every podcaster's desk. It's the microphone that people aspire to. But if you ever wanted to use it with your phone, it came with kind of a bunch of compromises. You basically needed to use it with a laptop and an audio interface to get the most out of it. Until now, that is, because if you've ever wanted to vlog using an SM7B or any other XLR microphone for that matter directly into something like the Osmo Pocket 3 or your phone, well, now you can. And it even means with a little bit of creativity, you can turn the SM7B completely wireless. And I'm going to show you how to do that later on in the video. And it's all thanks to this little guy. The Shure MV-X2U 2nd generation, and it's a full audio interface the size of a lipstick. In this latest version, it just makes the SM7B work with your phone exactly how it should have done all along. There are no hacks, there's no gain boosting in post-production, there's no apologetic, well, it sort of kind of works if you do this kind of thing. You just plug it into your phone, record, and get great audio straight away. Let me show you what I mean. You can see it's recognized here, MV-X2U Gen 2. I'm recording it on the app, but the important thing is when you go into click in device there, you can see all the settings. So this is actually the original MV-X2U plugged into the iPhone. But when I click on device, it says external microphone. So it doesn't recognize the MV-X2U at all. So why does the SM7B always have a problem when connecting to your phone? I mean, it's a dynamic microphone like many other dynamic microphones that don't seem to have this problem, that work pretty well with adapters. And that's because this is famously hungry for gain. It needs a lot of power to drive it. And that's also part of what makes it actually sound so good. But the problem is it means that you're stuck with whatever gain the interface you're using can give it. And for the most part, that's not enough. So Shure already made a version of this, the original MV-X2U, and this is it. I was actually lying earlier. They both look identical. This one was plugged into the microphone, so I needed this one as a prop. And the original version did kind of work with phones. So it wasn't officially supported. Shure never had it in the marketing materials, but you could plug it in and it would work, although the gain was still a bit lacking. And more importantly, it didn't unlock any of the settings that you get in the Shure Motive app. And those are the two main problems that it's been solved in Generation 2. So I've connected the original Shure MV-X2U to the phone, and you should notice a difference in the audio. So the quality is going to be about the same, but it's going to be a lot lower. And then what I would normally have to do if I'm making a video is bring that up in post, and any noise or any background sounds, they're going to come along with it. And that is why this is not an ideal solution, even though it's still an official product from Shure. But I know what you're thinking. If you own the original model, you're going to tell me that you can change the gain settings on the desktop app and it will stay on the interface, and next time you plug it in your phone, you're going to have much better gain. And yep, that is true. And I can even show you exactly how you do it. So if you go to the Motive Mix desktop app, you'll see the microphone here that we're using, or the interface rather. Click on this little settings button. I've got it set on auto levels just to keep it simple. And then we see here gain is set to normal. Now, if I click on louder, the gain will come up. And then when I unplug this and connect it back into the phone, it's going to be much, much more usable. But the problem is, if you then take the interface out and your phone and you're recording somewhere else, and you want to change that gain setting again, or if you want to change any of the settings, you can't do it. So you're limited to whatever you set it last at the desktop. And that is really inconvenient and can really catch you out. So yeah, it does kind of work, but it's nowhere near as good as the new version. Okay, so I am back from the barbers and I wanted to show a little bit of the app, because then we can take a look at some of the settings and what you can do with this, whatever microphone you connect it to. So right now, I don't have a Shure SM7B connected to it. I actually have, this is a Deity shotgun microphone with phantom power, just to demonstrate that this is actually useful for various types of microphones. We're just focusing on the Shure SM7B today. So let me swap over onto that microphone. Now that we're back on the SM7B, if we look at the settings, you'll see here that it recognizes the device, not the microphone. So what you're doing is changing the settings on the interface, nothing specific to the microphone. So this will work with whatever microphone you have plugged in. But then as we can look through, we've got the basic settings here. We've got microphone gain. You have auto level. Now, if I click that on, I can't at the moment because I'm recording it within the app. But if I stop the recording in the app, I'll be able to activate that and it will kind of take care of the gain for you. I personally don't like it. I much prefer to have manual control over the gain. Same with the limiter, you can activate that. It is activated right now. So that just means that there's like a hard stop should I go above a certain gain level. Here you've got the compressor settings. Again, it's grayed out because I'm recording, but you can set it between off, light, medium, heavy. XLR phantom power, we don't need that, but I did with the previous microphone, which is why you can see that it's actually on. So I should probably have turned that off before I did this recording, but that should be fine. Some of the other settings, specifically here, real-time denoiser. This is probably the most useful one, I'm going to say. Well, not useful, the one that you might appreciate the most when you're recording in the field. So what I'm going to do is actually going to stop the recording on this microphone, and I'm going to switch over to this one temporarily. Now that I've stopped that recording, we can see again in the app that these settings are now available to us. So you can see the auto level. If I wanted to, I can activate that. I can turn the limiter off. And here is the real-time denoiser. So I'm going to turn it on and then switch back to this microphone. So we're back on this SM7B, and this is with the real-time denoiser activated. So in my testing, it's actually quite subtle. I was kind of pleased with it because I did a review recently of the MV88 Plus, the new USB mobile microphone, and the real-time denoiser on that I found was a little bit too aggressive. It's a condenser microphone, so it picks up a lot more noise, and I think the denoiser has to work a little bit harder. But this is already a quiet microphone, so I find the effect is actually kind of pleasing. It's kind of usable. I always prefer to do denoising in post-production if possible. But if you're out in the field and you need to activate it because you've got a bit of traffic or maybe an air conditioning unit, that type of thing, then this setting is going to be quite useful. I'm going to deactivate it again so that you can hear the difference. And now we're back with the non-denoised sound, so the native sound coming out of this microphone. And you can already hear that in this room, which is actually kind of an echoey room usually, but this microphone is really, really good at getting rid of that. But you can notice the difference. There's a little bit more, there's just a little bit of echo in my voice when I deactivate the real-time denoiser. But I love that there is a real-time denoiser here that you can turn on, off and on in the app, which you couldn't do before with the older model. So there are other products that do similar things. Right here, for example, I've got an iRig Pre 2, but as you can see, this is way less elegant. This actually comes out into a 3.5mm cable, which then goes into a 3.5 to USB-C headphone adapter. And you can see that you actually also need to have a whole separate XLR cable. So it is a lot more affordable. It's a little bit clunky and it doesn't sound anywhere near as good in my opinion. IK Multimedia also does bigger ones. This one does actually let you go into USB directly out from the device, but again, look at that thing, it's not the same. So Shure's is actually a really, really elegant solution. At $140, Shure's option is a little bit more expensive, but if you want something that you know for sure is going to work, and it's going to work with the SM7B in particular, it's a really easy choice. But I know what you're thinking, how do I make it wireless? Well, let's take a look at that now. Here's the basic setup. I didn't say it was pretty, just that you could do it. The main thing that you're going to need is a wireless microphone kit. I'm using the Rode Wireless Pro here. The important thing is it has to be something with a 3.5mm input into it. You want to connect that to the 3.5mm headphone port on the Shure MV-X2U because that is going to be your output. The interface is going to need some power, which is why you need a battery pack. You connect it all up like you see it here, and then you want to connect your wireless microphone's receiver to your phone, and then voila, you have a hacky but functional wireless Shure SM7B. So there you have it, the absolute best way to connect the Shure SM7B to your iPhone, at least in my opinion, and I hope I've shown you some good reasons as to why I think that in this video. If you haven't yet already, please do like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and helps me make more videos like this. If you like videos about new technology and interesting things you could do with them, then why don't you check out my video here about the Claude Notepin S AI wearable. That's really interesting. And in the meantime, get out there and go create.